Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla, revealed in an email to company executives this week why he was eliminating salaried roles, citing a very awful feeling about the U.S. economy. Musk also issued a warning that the U.S. risked becoming like Venezuela if it ignored the clear source of inflation. The CEO of Tesla criticized President Biden in a podcast interview on Monday and warned that if the government keeps printing money, inflation will worsen and the U.S. may end up like Venezuela. Musk's purchase of Twitter is still proceeding. Musk denounced the Democratic Party in general and Biden in particular, claiming that he had overwhelmingly voted for Democrats. He contended that Biden resembles an empty suit. The Tesla CEO added, "Whoever controls the teleprompter is the true president. The road to the teleprompter is the road to dominance." In the 2004 movie Antorman, in which Ron Burgundy reads whatever is printed on the teleprompter even though it would jeopardize his career, the CEO continued, "I do feel like if anyone were to mistakenly lean on the teleprompter, it's going to be like Antorman." Musk observed that this administration doesn't seem to do a lot. Even putting Trump aside, many others in the Trump administration were productive at getting things done. He also asserted that trial lawyers, class action attorneys, and unions overly control the Democratic Party. He asserted that Republicans commit evil corporate and religious zealotry when they oppose the interests of the people, as opposed to Democrats, who frequently do the opposite. While this was not the case with Obama, Musk claimed that Biden is simply too much captivated by the unions. The CEO of Tesla described Obama as very reasonable, but claimed that Biden puts the union's interests ahead of those of the general public. A quick reminder, before we further continue our discussion on this topic, if you've enjoyed the video so far, consider subscribing, as we frequently upload informative and educational videos. Let's continue. The CEO of Tesla also commented on Jeff Bezos' assertion that the White House has used misdirection to muddy the topic of inflation. Bezos is the founder of Amazon, a company that reached a $1 trillion valuation in February of 2020, making Bezos the wealthiest person on the planet, while currently he holds the third position on the exclusive list. Musk echoed Republican critics who assert that Biden's American Rescue Plan COVID-19 relief omnibus bill helped to the nearly 40-year high inflation the United States experienced in April. Musk said, "I mean, the obvious reason for inflation is that the government printed a countless amount of more money than it had, obviously." In response, former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers tweeted on Monday that Bezos is largely wrong and that tax rises should be as comprehensive as reasonable to limit demand and contain inflation. Summers also attributes the president's stance to this. Yet again, Biden's official anti-inflation strategy recommends tax increases to reduce the deficit. Additionally, demand reduction is not even mentioned. Summers appears to be more Keynesian on this issue than even Biden. In actuality, Bezos is mainly correct in this conversation. Instead of a revenue issue, the U.S. government's expenditure problem is mostly to blame for inflation. Spending by the U.S. government in 2021 was $6.82 trillion, or 30.5% of GDP. This represents a significant increase above the $4.4 trillion and 21% of GDP in spending in 2019. Bezos neglects to acknowledge the Fed's part in both allowing the government's spending problem and turning it into an inflation crisis by addressing the ensuing deficits with massive money creation. The tweet from Biden that sparked this discussion might not have been as illogical as it first appeared. However, the approach it advises is still misguided. Twitter has a strong left-wing bias, says Elon Musk. "Why don't we just increase the deficit by 100 times if the government could simply print enormous quantities of money and deficits wouldn't matter? The truth is that you can't, since doing so would essentially render the dollar useless," he observed. Multiple nations have conducted this experiment, according to Musk. "You've seen Venezuela, right? Like how the government of Venezuela has treated its impoverished citizens inhumanly. Venezuela's inflation skyrocketed to a startling 65,374.08% in 2018 amid a downward economic spiral that was sparked by price limits imposed by the government and falling oil prices. To cope, the government started printing money, which caused prices to soar, the jobless rate to rise, and the GDP to shatter. So it's clear that you can't just make money," Musk remarked. In contrast to just money, he highlighted the actual economy, which he defined as the output of commodities and services. Inflation in the U.S. increased by 8.3% in April, somewhat less than the 8.5% increase in March, but still very close to the 40-year high. Musk reaffirmed his belief in the necessity of a neutral public town square in response to his purchase of Twitter. Musk bemoaned the state of California's collapse as well. According to him, the land of opportunity that once was the Golden State has changed to become the land of taxation, deregulation, and conflict. He added that there needs to be a thorough cleansing of the pipelines in California. While Biden and Musk could both choose the high road and end their playful jibes at one another over the previous 18 months, it does not necessarily seem the two are ready to do so. Whatever their subsequent encounter entails, it's likely to spark a heated debate among supporters. According to recent polls, Biden's assertion that the American economy is firmly grounded on its citizens' financial comfort may not be entirely accurate. Approximately 2 in 10 adults stated they did not believe the American economy was improving. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you soon with the next video. Till that time, take good care of yourself.